Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will be taking you the secrets of inna and anna. That is, how do you use them in expressions? And here is the secret. If you must write either inna or anna at the beginning of a statement, then you write inna. And when it is in the middle of a statement, you write anna. With the exception that whenever there is the word qala or any word formed from qala, then you use inna. But if there is no qala or any word formed from qala in the statement, then you use anna. For example, we have innal mudarrisa qa'imun. That is, definitely the teacher is standing. And in another statement, we have qala talibun innal mudarrisa qa'imun. That is, a student said, definitely the teacher is standing. And we have in another statement, which we say sami'tu annal mudarrisa qa'imun. That is, I heard that definitely the teacher is standing. So what's the secret in these three statements? The first and the second statement has inna in them, but the last, which is the third statement, has anna. And here is the secret. Number one, if there must be inna or anna in your expression at the beginning of the expression, then you use inna. For example, the one we say innal mudarrisa qa'imun. So inna will start a conversation. So you use inna at the beginning. You don't use anna at the beginning of an expression. And the second one, whenever there is qala or any word formed from qala in your expression before the inna, then you use inna. So in two places where you use inna, that is at the beginning of a sentence or in the midst of a sentence, but qala or any word formed from it precede that word inna. So here you use inna. And example 3, we have sami'tu annal mudarrisa qa'imun. That is, I heard that definitely the teacher is standing. Here is the secret. In the midst of a sentence, if without the qala or any word formed from qala, then you use anna. Let me come again. That is, if at the beginning of a sentence you must write either one of these two, then you write inna. And in the midst of a sentence, then if there is qala before the inna or anna, then you use inna. Just as we have it in example 2, qala talibun innal mudarrisa qa'imun. We have qala before the inna, so we use inna. And when we don't have qala in our expression, then we use anna whenever we must use it in the midst of some words. For example, we have sami'tu annal mudarrisa qa'imun, because we have sami'tu before the inna, so we use anna. So we don't use inna at this instance. Whenever we have every other word apart from qala before either the inna or anna, then we choose to use anna. We have many examples from the Holy Quran. For example, inna at the beginning of an ayah, we have it in Surah Al-Imran, Quran chapter 3, verse 33. Allah says, Inna Allah astafa Adam wa Nuha wa ala Ibrahim wa ala Imran ala alamin. So here Allah says, Inna Allah astafa Adam. So this is why you found inna at the beginning of every ayah that there should be inna or anna. So you found at the beginning there is definitely going to be inna. And the example of number 2, where there is qala before the inna, Quran chapter 3 verse 42, Surah Al Imran, Allah says, so Allah used inna because there is that qalat before the inna. So Allah says, إذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله استفاك وطهرك واستفاك على النساء العالمين. So in this instance, we use inna in the midst of the sentence, but because there is qala before the inna. So when there is no qala before the inna, then we use anna. So the example of the situation whereby we use anna is when we are using the anna in the midst of the sentence and there is no qala before the inna. Example of this from the Holy Quran is Surah Al-Ma'idah, Quran chapter 5, verse 98. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "I'lamu anna Allah." And also he said, "Wa anna Allah ghafurur rahim." So we use anna because there is no qala before the anna. So instead of inna, we use anna. So the summary of this video is that we use inna at the beginning of a sentence and we use anna in the middle of the statements. But when there is qala before the anna, then we use inna. So the only condition to use inna in the middle of a sentence is that when there is qala before it. So when there is qala before the inna, then we use inna. But if there is no qala, then in the middle of a sentence, we only use anna. And we use inna at the beginning of a sentence. So this is the short concept of inna and anna. I wish you get it right. Assalamu alaikum.